and that you like to understand people's personal stories. So we would like to ask you to give us your story, and particularly what experiences and passions have driven your own story.
Well, first of all, you can hear me okay, yeah? Okay. Let me know if you don't hear anything. I'm so honored to be here, so thank you for showing up on this not so fun rainy day, now night, to be a part of this. So my story, it's an ever-changing, as you can imagine, ever-changing and ever-edited story. But usually when people ask me about, well, how do I do what I do, or where did I come from, and how, what's the through line? I usually start in university, I start in school. Actually, no, I'm going to start at a younger age. I'm going to start in 6th grade. Because I had this moment, I remember in 6th grade, we had to do a study on the Wild West, right? And so you can imagine other 6th graders did their stories on, or did their research projects on whatever, name that explorer, or name that military expert, or name that, I don't know, baron, or whatever, right? And I chose to do it on the fashion of the Wild West, right? And luckily I had a teacher who kind of helped me along there and didn't laugh at my choice, but I've always been interested in why we do what we do. Not just what are the seminal events, or what's the most important thing in kind of the minds of, or in the culture today, or in the cultural conversation, as we call it, but really like those little things that we do. Why are they important, and what do they say about us, and what can we learn from that, and actually really learn about who we are because of looking at those daily activities and those things like fashion, or what we eat, or what we buy, or why we like chocolate, right? So I think that always propelled me to some extent, and I never really understood why, but I really like that. And then I came to university and I fell into something so wonderful, and that was anthropology. And that's really what anthropologists do, is they study why people do what they do. Right? Why they dance the way they dance, or politic the way they politic. And so I got extremely interested in that, and I was particularly interested in what was called economic anthropology. It's still called economic anthropology, and that's really the study of exchange. Right? That's what economics is all about, exchange. Exchange of women, exchange of food, exchange of money, exchange of ideas, right? And how different cultures think about those forms of exchange. And so I realized there's something really sexy about the combination of business and culture, or marketing and culture. And at the time, there was nothing there for me to, sink my teeth into from a career standpoint, but I knew I had to play with it. I knew I had to kind of dig into the humanistic side of business somehow. And I remember I went on consulting interviews. Anybody consulting, management consulting? Kind of, right, okay. So I went on consulting interviews because there wasn't really an option for me that I knew of. I went to Harvard, and you either get a PhD or you go into banking, and you go into consulting, and I'm like, okay, I'll get a job.
Is there something wrong with banking?
Nothing's wrong with banking. Nothing's wrong with banking. My mathematical skills are like at 5th grade level, so I knew that wasn't going to work, which is not so easy when I'm trying to help my son who's about to go into high school. But so I still had this kind of passion for looking at these behaviors and ways of being through the lens of human beings and how they live their lives. And so I struggled. I was in management consulting, and I struggled to find my way. And then somebody said to me, well, what about advertising? And I thought, at the time, Melrose Place, I don't know if you're familiar with that show, Melrose Place from the 90s. I mean, that was my vision of advertising. I was a daughter of academics. I was like, what? But I found it home in advertising, because as a planner in advertising, I could migrate my passion for understanding why people do what they do to why people buy what they buy. Really, right? So, as brand marketers, any of you are brand marketers, you know that we're not just selling the product, we're selling the dream. We're selling an aspiration. We're selling you know, against or for, to help people achieve their desires. And to do that, we have to understand, well, what are they desiring and what are they needing? And so here I was able to then, again, parlay my interests in why people do what they do and in culture into this space of advertising and marketing. And it was a great career for a long time. And then I realized, wait a second, this passion for human beings and this understanding of this, what I would call this kind of humanistic way of solving problems has more opportunity, right, than just advertising. Where else can this go? And so I really started getting passionate about applying this skill set to other worlds. And so there became a time when I started exploring marketing, other, you know, tech, media companies, other spaces where this mindset could help. And then Google called. And I said, well, why not? Who doesn't want to be attacked? I mean, I didn't really know what I could do, but I was like, yeah, sure, why not?